Hi, stock investors. JJ here. Welcome back. Well, has the stock market just flipped? Just yesterday, I made this video about the unnoticed crash underneath. I disagreed with that, by the way. I was responding to Financial Education Jeremy about that. He thinks that there's a stock market crash going on underneath these Mag 7 stocks, and there are a few stocks down there quite significantly, but just one day later, we've had a change. What happened was the NASDAQ, you see here, went down 1.95%, which was pretty significant there, and the S&P 500 went down nearly 1%. Not a huge drop, but it's had a big run lately. And we see here that the Russell 2000 was up 3.57%. So that is a turnaround. I was just saying yesterday, year to date, it was only up something like 3%. Yes, 5.58% up now, and see that spike there. See that spike there that just in one day, so it's had a pretty lackluster year compared to the other indexes. Well, the Dow hasn't been doing too well, but the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ index have had a stellar year. So what's going on here? Let's get into it and see if we can find out what's going on. So the Russell 2000 index is the most interesting to me because I do have a lot of small caps. If you do know if you're the Art of Value Patreon members do know that I'm pretty into small caps. I talk about them quite a lot. And this is my portfolio. Even though the Russell index was only up like 3%, it is possible to do well in small caps because my portfolio, this is an entirely small caps portfolio here, this one. About 8 or 9 stocks in it, and it's up 17.68%. So really keeping pace with the S&P 500, even though small caps are down. So people talk down on small caps and the Russell is saying they're not doing well, but it's definitely about stock picking again. And it was up more. It was up 25%, and the certain sector that I was in went down. Hopefully that'll go back up at the end of the year, but it is short. This is just short term. 6 months, a year is such short term. But, you know, this is why I'm keen on small caps, because the runway for growth should, in theory, be better than, say, $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion company. To go 10x from there is pretty damn difficult, you'd have to say. And so let's see what's going on here with this market, this crazy market. What could be the trouble here? Well, this is a chart of the week that I've been looking at too. Earlier on in the week, I was looking at this, and I think this is significant. This is the Shiller PE ratio, and it's at 36.32 earlier on in the week. It's probably gone down a bit just overnight there, or just in that last session, sorry. And, you know, it went up just in the November 2021, it was 38.58, which was pretty historically high just before that bear market of 2022. And then this here, right here, this peak, it was the dot-com bubble. So it went straight up to 44. That was historically the high. And these ups and downs, it's been a pretty good indicator. It's just one indicator of the market, of how taking the temperature of the market, as Howard Marks would say, not predictor of anything, although it has been a fairly good predictor. You just can't tell when it's going to turn or what's going to happen. But taking the temperature, it was getting pretty hot there, and it was due to those Mag 7 stocks. But having said that, what is going on here? These are the particular stocks here. We can see just in that day, these are the top 8, not Mag 7, 8. I've included Netflix here because it is, you know, it was one of those FANG stocks. They booted it out. It became the Mag 7. Nvidia's up there. It was at 5.57% down. Netflix down 3.67%. Meta even down over 4%. Apple even down over 2.3%, which has been fairly rare lately. Microsoft down 2.5%. Alphabet down nearly 3%, Tesla down 8.44%, and Amazon down 2.37%. Of course, we have Tesla down because of this robotaxi event, supposedly delayed. I don't think, as I'm speaking now, I haven't caught up with what Elon said, but I don't think he's confirmed that yet, but it looks like the robotaxi event's been delayed. And we can see here Uber had a good day, 3.47% up. Well, that was when they made this video. And Tesla was down 6.78, but it went down more. So a crushing blow to Tesla there, but it's had a huge run, isn't it? So this is the flipping of the market. Tesla included, those Mag 7 down, which has been pretty rare lately, and small caps having a good run. So what is the reason for this? What could it be? Here, today we had inflation data come out, June CPI inflation data. Let's see what they have to say. This will be quick.
All right, we are now looking at the wires. Hot numbers coming out. June CPI down 0.1% on headline, down 0.1%. That would equal where we were on May of 2020. To find a lower number, you have to go to April of 2020 when it was at its extreme of -0.8. So
I think this is one factor, that inflation came down. It was not expected to go down this much, and so I think the market seems to. This is just one indicator. The market seems to have decided that inflation maybe has been beaten, and that the Fed has been talking about lowering rates, and this could be the case. That's all we need to know there. The June data came, CPI data, CPI inflation data came out. It was better than expected, and that's what the market reacted to, I think, partly. But why the large caps? What's going on? Why the large caps came down and the small caps went up? This is an interesting video, and I did respond to this on the other channel, Stocks Today with JJ. This channel here, have been doing. This is a new channel, and I'll leave a link to this in the description if you want to check this out if you don't know about this yet. We're doing about 2 a day. When I get up in the morning, my time, which is after the US market closes, when it's just closing, I look at the news, and I've just been responding to these videos here. One was on about the Tesla delays there, and the rate cut coming. You know, was based on this video that we're about to see a clip from it. Before that was Bitcoin. So just look at the titles there if you want to check out any of those, or that channel. I'll leave a link in the description to that. That's a bit of fun for me. I'm pretty critical about people making predictions and that sort of thing, but it is a bit of fun. So what we have here, that CPI, and then we're going to catch up with Ed Yardeni, who does seem to have a handle on it, and I would like to respond to what he's got to say here, because I do think there's some interesting things that he says here.
CPI better than expected. Yields fall. We see parts of the market going up pretty sharply today. What do you make of it?
Some going up, but some going down. Maybe they videoed this before the turn of those Mag 7 that all went down.
Well, I think the bull market is broadening. As you know, there was a lot of concerns that it had been narrowing to just a handful of stocks, the so-called Magnificent Seven. Mm-hmm. But I think today's an important day. I think this is the day where investors are starting to rotate out of the Magnificent Seven and into the rest of the market. I don't think this
rotation out of these big caps into smaller caps. He's talking about the market broadening out, not just the small caps, but maybe I haven't checked mid caps. I haven't checked the market. We'll do that over time and see what's going on. Could this be a broadening out rather than the market crashing, is what Jeremy said that he thought was happening? I don't think that's happening quite yet. We can't predict, but what's a rotation? Imagine if it's a rotation. I certainly won't be unhappy if I have a rotation to small caps, even though the small caps I have been doing well. But if it rotates to small caps, they would get an extra boost, and that would be good as far as I can see.
Is going to continue to pull the S&P 500 down. I think there's going to be enough money to keep the leading stocks that have done so well fairly elevated. But I think we are going to see more gains in the S&P 493, as well as in the mid caps, the small and mid cap stocks.
There you go. See, he thinks it's going to broaden out. He didn't say that these big caps, mega caps, would take a tumble. He just said it would broaden out. So if that happens, that is pretty much a Goldilocks zone for the market, isn't it? So we've got a possible rate cut coming, inflation being conquered, and stock market going up, and it's an election year.
So this is the start of something, because that's been the great debate. When this broadening would happen, there's been some teases before, but You think this is legit?
Well, I think it's legit, partly because the Fed has changed my mind in terms of where interest rates are going. We still think that the economy is doing well enough with inflation moderating that there's no real good reason for the Fed to lower interest rates. But Jay Powell has made it very clear, the Fed chairman has made it very clear that they really do want to lower interest rates. And so I think now the market is absolutely right in anticipating a 25 basis point cut in September. I don't think it's going to happen in July. And so now we're actually going to see interest rates come down. As you know, at the beginning of the year, the markets were expecting 6 to 7 cuts, and that just never happened. This time around, I think the rate cut is coming.
That feels like that's what the takeaway was over the last couple of days, right? The chair on the Hill, I thought pretty explicitly set the table on what is to come. Nick Timiraos, the Wall Street Journal, writing after that appearance that Powell, quote, made the beginning of a pivot on interest rates that might prove more durable than one that sparked a big market rally at the end of last year. That's what you're talking about.
Absolutely. And I think the key thing is that the Fed now is balanced in its assessment of the dual mandate. In other words, unemployment is just as important as inflation, whereas before inflation was the key. They were just totally focused on convincing us that inflation had to come down before they started lowering interest rates. Now they're basically signaling that, we're getting pretty close there. And, excluding shelter, the CPI was up only 1.8%. In the data.
Okay, so I think we've got the gist there. What do you think about this? I'd love to know what you think in the comments about this. Do you think that Ed Yardeni's correct here, that what we're seeing there, inflation numbers came in, the Fed's pretty more sure that there's going to be a rate cut? They're talking September now. We don't know. We can't predict that for sure, that's good for the market. But what happened was there that the stock that Mag 7 went down just for the day, Tesla even quite substantially for internal reasons to the company there. But there's a broadening out. So mid caps, small caps are going to get a boost, but everything sort of raising all boats there, even though it seemed like there was that the market had a bad day. It was just that the top sector, the Russell 2000, as we saw, had a good day. My small caps had a really good day as well. So do you think this is going to happen? Let me know what you think in the comments there. And I do talk about small caps more and other things over here. I just made a video on the weekly investing update there. I do that towards the end of the week there, just sharing things that I don't share anywhere else. And I've started the stock analysis course here. I've done 3 so far. There'll be another one coming soon. It's stock analysis. I don't give stock tips. I'm not allowed to do that. See a lot of YouTubers doing that. Really shouldn't be doing that. I'd rather teach people how to fish than give them fish, if you know what I mean. And it's really, people aren't really supposed to be doing that, but I see that all over the place. And with finfluencers, so forth. Anyway, so if you want to see that, go over there. I'll leave a link to the description and that. And on screen right now, I'm going to leave a link to a video that YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, the algorithm thinks that you should watch next. It might be one of mine, it might not be. And also a subscription link if you want to subscribe here. And also leave a link to that Stocks Today with JJ channel. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.